Ark Survival Evolved. I love this game. Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Phlinger Phoo, and today we're going to be talking about surviving. Not just surviving, but surviving in a land of dinosaurs. You go from this stage to this. Oh, yeah. Alright, now when you're first starting out, this will be the screen that you are greeted with as soon as you install the game. You can join another Ark, or you can host local. If you join an Ark, you can go to one of the many different official servers on here. You can sort them all by game mode. There's PvP and PvE. The main difference here is PvP allows you to compete for ownership of whichever server you're on. Sometimes they're clustered up with many other servers, so where you can compete for ownership of the entire cluster. On PvE, it's you versus the environment. You meet new people, you get new friends, you tame lots of dinosaurs, and you overtake all the environment stuff, and there is a lot of the environment stuff. Lots of bosses, lots of fun to be had. Now, if you want things to slow down a little bit, you don't like the idea of a constantly running server all the time and having to log off and worry about your stuff while you're offline, you can always go with a local or a solo game. Now, you come into like this, and then this right here is the screen that you're greeted with. You can determine what you want for all of your settings on the side, and then you can also determine which map. Today, we're more specifically talking about the island. Now, where you start on the island, where it's important on which path you take to get from level 1 to level 100, and yeah, alright, let's have some fun. Now, when you first load into the game, this is the screen that you'll be greeted with. Now, I encourage you, get creative. You can do all sorts of cool stuff with this, all sorts of funny stuff, all sorts of wacky stuff. The character creation in this is kind of cool. It's not as in-depth as some other games, but it is really fun. Alright, now where you spawn at, spawn region is actually kind of important. Now, if you're spawning down here on the south zones, or on the west zones, these are the easiest areas. But the further away you get from this little area right down here in the corner, the harder it's going to be. It slowly goes up like this, where it's much more difficult, and then gets insanely difficult up here, and then over here from this side, it's going up this way, it gets increasingly more difficult as well. So I would encourage you, if you're just a beginning player, spawn right down here in the bottom corner of the map, which is West Zone 2. It says medium, but it's honestly, this is the easiest spot to spawn at and have a good time. Now, if you're looking for a different changes of pace, spawn wherever you want. I encourage you, have some fun. This is a great game, and you'll have a different experience depending on where you spawn at, regardless. So, one thing I do want to take note, always rename your character, especially if you're playing on a public server. People will point and laugh at the human. So make sure that you name your character. It is important. Now, as soon as you spawn, this will be what you're greeted with. Just like that. Now we can control our character. And then as soon as you go around, what you want to do, you want to take a look, a little bit of your stats. Now, here we go. Health is the amount of hit points that you have, the amount of damage that you can take. Stamina is how far you can run, how far you can whack stuff. Whenever it requires physical exertion, this is the numerical value associated with that. Oxygen. This is the amount you can hold your breath, whether you're in a vacuum or underwater. Food, this is the amount of food that you have, how much sustenance you actively have in a numerical value. Water is the exact same way, only with water instead of food. Weight, this is how much you can carry. Now, the things in Ark actually have interesting carry weights, and we'll get into that a little bit further, but certain things cap out at 4 weights, and certain things have a huge amount that will slowly build up, like when you have stacks of different things. So if you have 1 stone, it weighs barely any, compared to a full stack of 100 stone weighs quite a considerable amount. So keep that in mind while you're determining your weight. Melee damage. This is how much you hit for when you are wielding a melee attack or punching with your bare fist. Movement speed. This is how fast you will move on the ground. Crafting skill, this is when you're crafting certain engrams that you will eventually loot through the game. Will help determine exactly what quality those are. You can increase the quality of those with a higher crafting skill. And then fortitude, this is how well you can survive the elements and how well you can survive torpidity. All of these are very important skills, and when you level up, you will be able to put 1 point into each of these as you go. Torpidity is always that. You cannot change how much torpidity you go. When I am leveling up a character, I traditionally go with movement speed of 112 to start out. That is my first skill stat that I will increase. Some people will take it to 115. Others will take it a little bit higher. 112 movement speed, though, is the speed that is required to outrun raptors. And raptors are a very dangerous part of this game, so keep an eye out. And if you want to be able to outrun them, 112 movement speed is the speed you're looking for. 115 will give you an edge and allow you to pull away slowly from the raptor, but to me, that is a bit too many points from there. I will traditionally go 112 movement speed, and then I will immediately take my weight up to about 300, and then I'll take my stamina up to 150, and then I'll start working on my fortitude up to about 20, so where I can survive the elements, I can carry some weight, I can run away from raptors, and I can also run for quite a bit longer than normal. After that, I will start taking my weight up to about 400, and then after I'll start pumping up my health up to about 200. Once I reach those milestones, all the rest, you're generally about level 70, so then you can start taking your weight up to about 550, your health up to about 250, and then your fortitude up to about 40. Alright, so now what we're going to do, we're going to open up our Ingrams tab. Now the Ingrams, you will notice that you have a note, a stone pick, and a torch. We're not worried about the torch or the note right now, we're worried about the stone pick, which requires 1 stone, 10 thatch, 1 wood. Now how you get these is on the beach where you spawn. If you run around, you will notice there are stones on the ground. Pick up one of those, and we're in business. And then you go up, and then you start punching a tree. Yep, that's right, punching a tree. And then we have already gotten enough stone and wood and thatch, so we open up our crafting. We go to weapons, primitive, melee, and we have our pick. As soon as we have our pick, we've already got our level up. So now we will take this and we will go movement speed for the first one, and then we will learn stone hatchet. Now, and also spear, because we want to be able to defend ourselves and we want to be able to break stones. Now, when it comes around to the stone pick and the stone hatchet, the stone pick, if you are hitting on things like trees and rocks, you will get, from trees, you'll get primarily thatch whenever you hit them. Whenever you hit a tree with a stone pick, whenever you hit a tree with a hatchet, you'll get more wood than you will thatch. If you're going against a rock and you're trying to harvest a rock with a stone pick, you'll traditionally get flint as the primary resource. If you use a hatchet, you'll get just regular stone. If you are harvesting an animal's corpse that you will eventually kill, with a stone pick, you get primarily meat. If you use a stone hatchet, you get primarily hide. Once we have the pick in our hand, we can come over, equip that, put that on our hotbar, and then hit a rock, and we'll start getting flint. Once we have enough flint, we can open back up our crafting, and we can craft a hatchet. And then now our goal is to start setting up some wooden spears. Because wooden spears will defend you, but you want to have more than one wooden spear because spears will break on you. They always will. It doesn't matter. It can be 1 hit, it can be 10 hits, but they will always break. So you want to have at least a couple of them in your inventory. So at the start of the game, you're going to want to go up and start harvesting bushes. What you do, you just go up, you hit the use button, and then you'll start gathering berries and fiber. Now, both of these resources are extremely important. Now, you'll notice that we're getting different types of berries. You don't want to eat the blackberries. The blackberries are bad. And to start off, you don't want to eat the white berries either. Just remember, blackberries bad, white berries bad. All right, you want to eat the purple berries, the blueberries, the red berries, and the yellow berries. These are the ones that are going to give you a little bit of food, a little bit of water. It's not a lot, but when you just start out, this is your primary food source. The purple berries, if you want, you can save these because later on when you're taming dinosaurs, you can, if they're an herbivore, they will gravitate more towards the purple berries. They like them better. So save as many of these as you can. Survive off the blue, the red, and the yellow for now. Keep your blackberries and your whiteberries because these are important. These ones right here are used to actually give dinosaurs more torpor. So when they're unconscious via you knocking them senseless and you're giving them the purple berries to eat, the blackberries are what you use to keep them knocked out. Now, if you want them to wake up, or if you yourself want to wake up, these berries have the opposite effect of the blackberries. These ones will wake you up and stimulate you, hence the name stimberries, and then these ones will knock you unconscious, hence the name narco. Now that we've got plenty of fiber, go like this. We still need more wood. Alright, now that we've got the very beginning essential setup, now we need to determine how to get meat. Now, guess what? You are now the reason why the dodos went extinct. Congratulations! Just accept it, and then harvest it up with a hatchet. If you meet any of the island's unruly dinosaurs, make sure you pull out your spear and stab them in the face. Make sure you harvest them with a hatchet so where you can get more hide. And then sigh in relief when your face turns green. When you're ready to drink water, you can come down to any water source and click use on it and it will fill up your water supply. Or when you're ready to cook your ill-gotten gains, by harvesting up things, you can place a campfire, throw your meat in here, throw some wood in here, light that up, and wait. One of the first things you want to do is craft yourself a foundation, set down a mortar and pestle, and start crafting narcotics from the Ingrams list. Once you hit 21, you'll have access to trank arrows, and all those narcotics will come in quite handy. Right, so now, once you have access to trank arrows, you can start going out looking towards increasing your followership, i.e. taming dinosaurs, which is the reason why we're here. So let's get started on that. Now, you can start this a little bit earlier by using slingshots. It is a learned skill, but it is completely a viable tactic. And once you start going out and being able to knock out dinosaurs, you can start taming them. Now, how you determine what these things eat and what you use to tame them, well, generally, rule of thumb, if you can walk up to it in the wild and it doesn't want to eat you, it's generally just not that into you, which means it doesn't want to eat meat. It wants to eat berries. Now, if you walk up to it and it wants to actually eat your face, chances are it likes to eat meat. Now, there are a few exceptions to the rule. Pteranodons eat meat even though they don't attack you, and therizinosaurs do. The guys with the big, huge, Freddy long fingernails, yeah, they also want to eat berries. But for the most part, if they don't attack you and they're non-aggressive, they eat vegetables. As you level up, you can start building a house that you can start calling your home. Now, you can start this up with thatch, which will eventually upgrade to wood, which will eventually upgrade to stone, and then will eventually, if you want to, upgrade to metal. If you're playing on PvP, metal is generally the way you go. PvE, not so much. Alright, once you have your newfound buddies tamed, if you can ride them, you can create a saddle for them, look it up in your Ingrams list, and craft a saddle. Sometimes you can craft it in your inventory, other times it requires a smithy. Now, in order to get the metal for your smithy, there are a few different things you need to do. Now, you can normally just scour the island for the big metal nodes that you can find, or there are other ways to find metal. And it, of course, involves avoiding raptors. Now that we've realized we want to actually hang out with our newfound friends, just in case if raptors come try to eat our face, we're also going to come over here, and you will notice that if you tamed an herbivore, your berry gathering abilities have dramatically increased. It really doesn't matter what herbivore. Some are better than others, but the amount that they harvest is quite exceptional. So yeah, getting your first herbivore dino, it's a pretty big jump. Right, so now that we're over here, you'll notice that there is no metal nodes over here. But these small little round rocks that you find in the river, these things have a special ability of being able to gather a ton of metal. So we're going to gather up just enough metal from these with our stone pick to be able to craft a smithy and then also a pick, which is 12 metal. Alright, once you have the metal pick, you can return to the same river rocks, and then you can harvest them up and get an increased amount of metal. These things are really good for early survivors, and as long as you're spawning down in these areas, you're not going to need metal for a good long time. These things will also respawn quite quickly and be able to supply you quite a bit. You will eventually get quite a bit, you will outgrow them, I should say, and need to head off into the mountains. But we will discuss where to specifically find the different resources here in just a minute. Before you head out into the wilds, there's certain things you need to take care of. One is your armor. Now, you can craft different sets of armor, and you will get more increasingly durable sets of armor as you level up on the island. It starts out with cloth, and then it goes a little bit higher. Now, each one has its different benefits. Cloth armor provides minimal protection, but also it gives you a decent ability to withstand a little bit of the hotter temperatures of the island. There are certain places on the island that get warmer, certain places that get colder, and the cloth armor generally helps you mitigate some of the heated areas. It does also provide a little bit of warmth in the colder areas, but not much. I would rely on other suits of armor for that. Hide armor provides quite a bit more ability to withstand the cold temperatures, but it will overheat you quite considerably. It also has a much higher armor stat than cloth armor, making it far superior for going into caves and such like that, especially since you can repair this stuff in your inventory. That's a big bonus. Chitin armor, spelled chitin in your Ingrams list, this stuff provides quite a bit more durability than the hide armor, but it comes with a couple caveats. It will overheat you very quickly, it will make you freeze very quickly, it provides very little protection against the elements. Matter of fact, some of them, it makes it worse, but you also cannot repair it in your inventory. You have to repair this stuff into a smithy. And the last of the lower level armors, this one right here is a little bit harder to make because it takes organic polymer to craft. But once you have access to organic polymer, and we will discuss where to get organic polymer here in just briefly, you will be able to have this. And this stuff, honestly, is pretty good. This will keep you cool in the warmer temperatures. It won't warm you up very much, but it also will allow things to not aggro on you as much. You are able to actually hide with this stuff, hence the name ghillie suit. Now, this stuff does not provide that much protection, but it does have quite a few advantages. So you have to kind of pick and choose which suit of armor you want. Now, the last one we'll discuss before we move on is the flak armor. This stuff provides, it will freeze your butt off while you're wearing it. It will overheat you, but it provides the most amount of protection for the lower levels, the pre-50 levels. So if you want super high durability without having to withstand, you don't think you're going to withstand any of the elements, this stuff is actually really good for that. It allows you to take a beating, it allows you to get back up, get back on your dino, it allows you to stay in the fight a little bit longer. And fur armor. This stuff right here is extremely good for the extremely cold temperatures of the island. There are places that will freeze your butt off, and if you don't have this stuff, you will die by going in there for prolonged exposure. It doesn't provide as much armor as some of the others, but it does provide more than some of the others as well. So, if you're going into the cold environments, this is the stuff you want. And as you're exploring the island, which you're going to explore, you are going to find different places of the island that you really enjoy more than others. Each person's personal preference, but as you go, you will eventually find a place, build a base, and then slowly upgrading it. Now, like I said, the first one is thatch, and then you can upgrade to wood, or you can upgrade to stone if you want to have things a little bit more durable. Or you can just mix and match and go with this. Now realize that when things come up and start smacking it, the lower ones that can withstand more damage will be hit first. So the stone ones, which are on the bottom, and then the wood ones generally are kind of out of reach unless if it's a bigger dinosaur, and then the wood will go as well. And as you level up, and as you adventure, and as you explore, you'll eventually start taming new and wonderful creatures. Now, each of these creatures has a special superpower or a certain bonus. But that right there, those are videos among themselves. I have got numerous amounts of videos on exactly what they do, how to tame the specific ones. It's called my Ark Basics series, and I will include a link in this video and also in the description down below, so where you know where to get all that information, because there's a lot of it. Now, when you're ready to head out and explore and start looking for some of these rare resources, there are quite a few places where you can go. Some of the other ones are a little bit harder to get to. Some of the ones are actually kind of easy. Some of the ones, you just don't even realize that you ran past it 30 times, and then all you had to do is go through that copse of trees, and bam, there it is. Alright, now one of the earliest places you can go to get these rich metal nodes, and that's what these are. These are the rich nodes. Or also there's some more of the medium nodes up here. That's more rich nodes. And also you can get some crystal. Now this stuff right here in the early game, you really, really want this stuff for spyglasses and other stuff of the sort. And one of the easiest places to get it is right up here on this peak right up here. Now once you actually get a little bit higher level and you start exploring, you'll notice that all of these peaks and mountains along the island have metal and crystal on them to varying degrees. Yeah, it's quite a bit. And then as you explore, you'll realize that there's metal and crystal all over the place. And you'll start seeing it everywhere. It's like when you have one of those cars, or when you're looking at a car, and then you realize that, hey, I want one of those cars, and then you start seeing all those cars everywhere. That's the way it works. Alright, now obsidian, these little black rocks, these ones are a little bit harder to find. They're not as easy as crystal, and they're not as abundant as crystal. But once you realize where they're at, you'll notice them everywhere, just like crystal. I'm trying to keep my distance from that guy up there. Alright, and this right here, this mountain is right here. And also that mountain right across the way, which is the volcano, that also has a ton of it as well. And once you're ready to move on to the next harder tier of resources to get, now this is where you find oil and organic polymer. And also around the corner is also where you find a lot of silica pearls. Now this is located right here on the map, way up here. Now how you harvest these is you go up to the oil nodes with your metal pick, and you get oil directly from the rocks. When you're ready for organic polymer, you can come up to these other islands a little bit further north and get the organic polymer from these penguins. Right here, yes, you have to harvest the penguins from these. Now, there are different ways of gathering it. You can either kill and harvest them, use a club most preferably, or use different dinosaurs that can harvest them up. But yeah, these guys are primary source of organic polymer. Yeah, it's a little bit twisted, but enjoy. Alright, and another easy source of getting silica pearls. Now, these are ones that you're going to need often and quite a bit of. Now, you can find them all along the bottom of the ocean, but that's for more advanced stages in the game. You can also find them in caves in the underwater area, but for the most part, right up here, along this riverbed is a quick and easy source of silica pearls. Right along here, you notice these things down here in the water, those are silica pearls. They're dotted all over this area, plus over on this side as well. Just come up here, grab your fill, and then eventually you'll find other sources where you can find a ton more of silica pearls, but for the most part, this is an easy way of getting them. If you're looking for quick and easy ways of gathering cementing paste, you can come out to the river's tributaries and such and find places where the castrates or the beavers are hanging out. Now, you can come down here, you can loot these things. It will aggro all of the beavers in the area, so loot and scoot, grab your cementing paste out of there, and then get lost. Because you can also get silica pearls in there, but the beavers are definitely going to eat your face when you're done. Now, if you're looking for black pearls, you can find black pearls on the floor of the ocean from the Eurypterids. They're little tiny sea scorpions down there. Be careful when you're going down there and tanking those. Take something that can take a little bit of torpor, because they will cause torpor, and a lot of it very quickly. So take something that's either immune or something that can withstand a bite or two from those guys. Now, also, there is other ways of getting black pearls. It's a little bit harder to come by, but it totally is a viable means of doing it. Alright, you can also get black pearls and silica pearls by hunting trilobites. Now, these guys, they're not a quick and easy way of getting black pearls, but then again, black pearls were really never intended on being quick and easy, unless if you're in the deep ocean. That's where you really need to be if you want to get a lot of them. But unless if you're in the very end stages of the game, you're really not going to need a lot of black pearls. But in the earlier stages, these are a way of getting black pearls if you so need them. Alright, so that should pretty much cover how to get started, how to stay alive, how to jump into the sandbox. Remember, it is a sandbox, and it is an amazing sandbox, so have fun, enjoy, and if you want a little bit higher level of challenges, there are eventually caves that you can jump into. There are also different boss encounters that you can fight. You can go up to the big obelisks, like the one right back behind me in the distance, and you can queue up to join different boss fights and start taking down massive encounters. And then also, eventually, you can go to the creme de la creme, the overseer of the island, and you can beat him and then journey on to another arc. But hey, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope this helped you out. I hope this helped you out on your survival adventure. And if you liked the video, make sure you click that like button. I really appreciate it. If you're new around here, subscribe. And until next time, this is Phlinger Phoo, and take it easy, everybody.